What is up, Kingdom Speakers? Hey, Coach Maya with you. I just want to jump in here real quick before summer comes back. I love y'all's energy, and so many of you are asking for the payment option in the chat. So I just want to come on. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to walk you through it because this is how we do when you join our community. We are leading you and we will hold your hand if you need it. Okay, so here you go. I'm sharing. We're going to look right here. We're going to go, when you click it, it's going to open. Okay. You're going to see this, all the information, and then you scroll down and you see right here, you can use a credit card or you can go to Affirm.
We only see the top of your
this
screen.
Also, can you all see my screen? Yes.
No, only the top bar.
Okay. That's weird. Can you see it now?
No, it's only the top bar still.
Oy. Okay. I want to stop share. That's really weird. Okay, maybe I have to jump out of. Can you
keep talking
now? Do you hear me now?
Now we see it.
You see it? Okay. Okay. Can you see the offer page? The payment page? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here we go. You're going to scroll down right here. You can either click credit card or you can click Affirm, and then you're going to go to complete your order. And it might ask you more questions after this. You can also click here. Okay. And then just continue your order. So these two, Affirm right here and Afterpay, these are your options for payment. Okay. And so basically what it does is it sends you over to another screen, and then it's going to give you your options for what your payment is. And it's like $63 a month when you go through this. So if you're if you're hearing, I'm going to stop my screen share. If you guys are, hearing from the Lord and you're hearing the Lord say, be a yes. Okay. Trust the Lord. I've learned in my life that trusting God's yes is better than waiting 10 years, which I saw so many of you drop in the chat that you waited 10, 20 years on being a yes to the Lord saying, this is your calling, get on stage. So I don't want to see you guys waiting. I want to see you going for it. And Summer has made it possible for you guys to do payments and to get in on this. And I have been with her since the beginning. She has never made an offer to coach with her for speaking that is this low. It's amazing. So jump on in there. If you guys need help, you can reach out to me or Coach Shauna in the chat and we will help you out. All right. Here comes Summer Day.
Hello. And hi, Maya. You're so cute. I just love you. Maya, did you want to read some of those names in your best? Maya's a really good MC in your best MC voice. Congratulations.
Oh, congratulations to Martha Rice. Give it up for Martha Rice, everybody. Woo! Congratulations. Who else do we have in here? I can't see it now. Okay. Congratulations to Wanda Gaines. Girl, I seen you lighting up this chat. I'm so glad you're in with us. Woo! Who else do we have? Congratulations to Angelica from yesterday. Congratulations, Tammy Collins. We're stoked to have y'all. Let's see. Martha Rice again. Michelle McHenry. Congratulations, girl. We're so glad you're in here. Who else? We got Tony. Congratulations. Anybody else? Let's see.
Michelle McHenry. Michelle McHenry.
Woo! Michelle McHenry. Okay. Congratulations, Natalie Vaughn. Yeah, girl. We're so stoked. And there's a bunch from yesterday, too. Martha Rice. Love it. Love it. Oh, my gosh. You guys, we're so excited to have you in this community. I've learned so much from Summer. Somebody was messaging me personally saying, is it worth it? Am I really going to get something out of this one? Because I've bought a lot of things, And I've learned from Summer in this speaker program, there's a lot of things that I've taught Summer, but this speaking program, and I helped her build out some parts of it. I'm learning in the process. And if someone like Summer's learning too, these speakers come on and it's like, what? I never thought of that. I never thought to say it like that. But I can assure you, if I'm learning new things because I've been in this industry for a while, you will learn new things. And it is highly, highly worth it. Anybody in this chat, drop in the chat if you've had Summer on one of the group coaching calls, if you've had her hot seat you when you're speaking. If you've had her hot seat you, drop like a firebomb in the chat, because that is worth it right there. If you get like a 5-minute coaching from Summer once a month for 3 months on your video, it's a game changer. I hadn't seen Shauna speak actually since the very first time she spoke at the Master of the Stage event until today. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
She has grown so much. So if you're on the fence, get off the fence. Don't wait 10 more years. Go click the link.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Thank you, Maya. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you guys got questions, you can still always go back to the help desk. And, if you're like, oh, is it going to be worth it? Jump in, find out for yourself. A lot of you have taken chances on other coaches and it's like, well, don't I deserve the same chance? just because somebody else, the thing didn't work and you had your belief over there, it's time for you to give that same chance to me. And you've heard from lots of people that it'll work. It works if you do it. Like, clients that have the results are the ones that show up. It's not a genie in a bottle. I am not a magic wish. I'm not a magic wish, but if you go through the trainings and you show up, you will grow. As I've had clients pay top dollar for my stuff and never go through the trainings and not show up at all. I've also had clients win the speaker contest that have never gone through the trainings and just only showed up on the live calls where I do live coaching and massively grow. So if you get involved, whatever level you get involved, the law of reaping and sowing will come into effect. I know that our tools and our strategies and what we teach is good because of what Maya just said, because Shauna's growth is undeniably incredible. And if Valerie was up here, you'd see it from her. If Brenda was up here, you'd see it from her. I have a lot of clients here right now that are all like, oh my gosh, pick me, Summer, just let me tell them. And they would tell you. Maybe we'll pull some of them up later. For now, I'm going to bring up 2 different speakers that I want you guys to watch. Now, even if you're not thinking about podcasting, it's not on your radar at all, don't take this time to go run away and leave. I really want you to hear about what they're doing in the podcast world, because a lot of people think podcasting has been around for a while and then it's dead. It's not. It's actually taken a giant uptick, kind of like Bitcoin has recently. And so one's going to talk to you about getting on podcasts and how podcasts is a great way for you guys to practice by doing is low-end podcasts and then building up to higher, more prestigious podcasts that have 100,000 downloads in a day or in a month or something like that. And then the other one's going to talk to you about starting your own. I guarantee you there's a couple of you here that's going to happen for you in 2025. Your big major goal is going to be starting that own podcast, and they're going to help you see that vision just a little bit more clear. So Valerie says, I was 10 minutes ago. I knew it. So we're going to bring them up and right now. All right, Kingdom speakers, I've got our next speaker in the lineup for you. Here she is. We have Angel Tucci. Did I say that right?
Right. It's Angel Tussey.
Oh, just pretend, strike that, reverse it. You didn't hear me. Here it is. We have Angel Tussey. Woo! Angel Tussey has 2 decades of experience as an award-winning speaker, radio host, TV producer, and PR media specialist. She is the author of 15 bestsellers, y'all. Can you just drop 15 in the chat if maybe you'd like to be an author of not 1, not 2, not 3, 15 bestsellers. And she's known for her exceptional expertise in helping her clients with media exposure. Angel has a track record of booking thousands of media interviews for her clients. Angel also spearheads the online podcast network Need a Guest. Welcome to the stage.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Summer. How fun. How fun. I'm so excited to be here. I'm super thrilled to be hanging out with you today and all of your friends that are here as well.
Thanks for letting me royally mess up that name and then, have a redo. I really appreciate that.
You know what, Summer, I tell people I married it. I'm used to being it mispronounced, but it's all right. It's all good. I tell people I'm fussy tussy. If you just remember that I'm super fussy, then it's easier if you
Fussy.
heard it. But once you look at it, your brain cannot, like, it just cannot make the connection. But
Fussy Tussy.
32 years, Summer. 32 years I've been married with that name. So
And yet you look 32 years old. So there's
Yeah.
that.
today. Oh my gosh, if only that were true.
So I got the joy of meeting Angel at the ZTV Awards, where some of you know I won a TV award. Actually, it's that big old one right there. Totally surprised to win an award, honored to win an award for our Bible TV show. Angel was the host. And so she was up there, and the whole time she kept talking, I was like, who is this woman and why have I never met her? And so ran up to her as soon as it was over and just was like, hey, I'm Summer Day. I feel like I have to meet you, and got to chatting. And I just want to tell you guys, I'm really picky on who I asked to be on our summit, because I'm giving my stamp of approval of these people that we've really hand selected. And I want you to know that her Need a Guest program and that the things that she offers, I am her client as well. Like, I really have been so impressed with all of the things that she's doing. So we're going to talk a little bit. Her expertise really is getting people booked, getting them media exposure and all that kind of stuff. So you can drop media in the chat if you're like, yes, that's my next step. That's my missing piece. This might just really be the session that, really changes your life. So let me ask you just a couple questions. I want to backtrack before we get into the podcasting. 15 bestsellers?
Well, not overnight. I think I published my first one in 2008. So like 20 years worth of publishing. But yeah, 15 of them. 15. Yes. I'm trying
That's
to keep up with some rock stars in the space.
That's impressive. That's very impressive. 15 of those. It's really good. Take us on a journey. Like, how did you get started in all of this, Angel?
Interestingly enough, I started by hosting a podcast. I started hosting a podcast back in 2008. I was working. I had a business partner. We were doing some networking, speaking on customer service and customer experience. And somebody came up and said, "You guys should start a podcast." So we did. And a few months into that, we actually got discovered by our local radio station, who invited us to start a daily radio talk show. So with no background in journalism, no background in broadcasting, because of my podcast, we'd had it professionally produced. We got discovered and started hosting a daily radio talk show. So my book, Get Discovered, isn't just a clever name. It's actually my story on how you can take your voice, and if you can create a platform and create your own program, you can create more followers. And really, Summer, I think that's my biggest heart, is just to create more kingdom voices in the traditional marketplace, because the more people we have listening to us, the bigger our impact. And so I did broadcasting from Denver, Colorado for 10 years. We won Best Morning Talk Show team. I ended up, when I left broadcasting after 10 years.
10 years.
10 years in broadcasting.
How many? I think I know this is like some crazy answer. How many people have you interviewed?
I have interviewed a lot, over 5,000 people I have interviewed. But it was because by the time I left broadcasting, Summer, I was hosting 2 talk shows every day. I had a 2-hour business or positive business talk show. And then in a 6-minute commercial break, we changed studios, and I was hosting a Christian lifestyle show, talking to moms in minivans in the afternoon. So I was hosting 4 hours of talk radio every day. So 10 years career, daily, 4 hours. Sometimes it was 2, then it was 3, then it was 2. Like, it was all over the place. But yeah, that makes for a lot of talk time.
You're probably very good at it, as everyone can tell. So Christian moms and minivans. Tell me a little bit more about that. It was Christian lifestyle. Which one did you start with?
Start with business. So my background is business.
And what was that podcast called?
So our company at the time was called the Experience Pros. So we were all about relationship marketing and customer experience. So Experience Pros, it was the Experience Pros radio show, was the Experience Pros podcast with Eric and Angel. And we switched studios at one point, and they had their longest running program on that for that station. Actually, it was because we had 4 stations that ran. What do you even call that? The company, the brand. They had 4 radio stations that they were running, and their longest running program was on their Christian show, on their Christian station, and it was called Crosswalk. And they lost their host and came to me and Eric and asked if we would host and take over this show. It was their most popular, most listened to show out of all 4 stations. And honestly, Summer, I was scared to death. Right? Marketing, easy peasy. Things aren't going well. You throw more marketing at it, right? Messaging, marketing, like get in front of more people. Things aren't going well for these moms, right? Their children are detached, real life stuff. And that my first week was really incredibly emotional. And I really felt like I wasn't the right, I was just a regular mom. I wasn't a preacher. I wasn't a pastor. I wasn't in, church leadership. I was just a mom. And they said that's what they needed, right? They wanted a Christian mom, an everyday mom that could relate to the moms listening. And so I really had to just really discern, right, if that was the next right step for me. But when God opens the door, if you don't say yes to it, he's going to push you through it. So so there I was hosting a daily Christian lifestyle show, and I love it.
that. You said if you don't say yes to it, he's just gonna push you through it.
Sometimes it was
Sometimes kicking and screaming, and we're like in the doorway, and we're going, no.
Yes. But what a blessing for me to just even be invited and to be invited for that offer. And it was incredible. It was incredibly powerful show. And so I stayed in broadcasting up until I didn't, and then when it was time to go, left that and started speaking publicly as a public speaker, which some of I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually almost didn't graduate high school because I had a fear of public speaking. And I couldn't even pass my public speaking class, which was a required credit for graduating from high school. But God bless my teacher. He gave me a D. I was pathetic, but I showed up. And so for me to go and be a public speaker, I'm incredibly introverted, incredibly shy, terrified of the stage, right? Butterflies, mouth drying up, the whole bit. And then here I am being invited to go and share this message on stages and to speak, which I never thought I'd be a speaker, but I ended up doing that for a couple of years, right up until the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love that. Did you ever go back and contact your speech teacher and tell him, hey, I'm actually speaking now. Oh, and I had #1 radio broadcast show and I'm making money speaking now.
It was right after we had just won an award, and we were doing a magazine article about the show. And the journalist asked me, Angel, did you always want to be in broadcasting? Did you always want to host your own radio show? And swear to you, this came flooding. I don't know where it was hidden in my brain, but the conversation with that teacher, there was a day where we had all gone into the high school radio studio, and all we had to do was speak into a microphone, read from a piece of paper, this radio copy, and speak into a microphone. I couldn't do it. I couldn't even get the volume out for that. And my teacher said to me, you will never have a career in broadcasting. And I promise you, I was 17 years old. I tucked that away so far, I didn't even remember it was in there. But as soon as that journalist asked me that question, that memory came flooding back, like so vivid to me that it was just packed in there. Like, I guess not. I never thought I would be here. I haven't gone back. I don't even remember his name. I haven't even gone back for a high school reunion.
Wow. I think that would be cool. That's like a good reality show. I went back and then I told him, you were wrong. Well, let's chat a little bit about your business, your stuff. Like, what do you believe with all of your marketing background, everything that you've done, you've built 7-figure businesses, stuff like that. what do you think is the number one way? We've got the Kingdom and Speakers and Influencers Summit. Hopefully we've got lots of people that are, gung-ho about being a speaker and an influencer. What do you tell people is the number one way that they should market their products, their services, their coaching, any of that?
Speak. Right?
We're
Speak.
done. Just
Right?
speak.
Yeah.
It's
Just
the
speak.
best answer ever.
Right. If you will just share your story in front to more people, right? And if that group starts with, I remember when I started with a little networking group, right? We had 12 people and I grew that into multiple six-figure business, right? Speak, get in front of audiences. And today more than ever, there's so many more platforms. Honestly, every day there are hundreds of thousands of journalists, of magazine editors, of TV hosts, of radio hosts, podcast hosts, event planners. People are looking for speakers. There are not enough, believe it or not, there are not enough people willing to step up and share their story. And there is an audience out there that is craving your voice, your story every single day. Speak. Number one, hands down.
I love it. Every single day, speak.
Every day. Every day.
I try to tell them, like, you got no excuse because, we're here to help people learn how to get themselves booked on stages, learn how to create their own stages. And I was like, you got your own stage right here. It's called Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live. Like, we do live in a crazy place now that wasn't around a couple decades ago. You do not have to wait for a phone call and someone to say, I pick you. It's like, how many of us were, we played softball or soccer or whatever, basketball, we were like the last kid picked, right? Every kid's nightmare is like, oh, what if I'm the last kid picked? And sometimes I feel like speaking can feel like that, but we don't have that. We literally can be like, I choose you, Summer, and open your mouth and speak today. And I love that you teach people, sort of the same as with podcasting. It's like, you just gotta get there and do it. Tell people about why you think podcasting is so successful and kind of maybe explain a little bit about that.
Well, so I wanted to just add that when you said, I pick you, I know you're going to have Zandra on the summit if she hasn't already spoken. Yeah. But she talks about that as well. Like, you don't have to pitch anymore because you can own the media, you own your channel. So you don't even have to pitch and ask for it anymore. So you were so right. We own the stages these days. But why podcasting? I was in radio. I was in broadcasting. I've done television. I've done stages. And for the last year and a half, Summer, I have solely focused on the podcast space. Why would I give up all of those others for podcasting? It's because the more I learn about the longevity, the availability, the impact that podcasting offers, there's nothing else like it. When I was in radio and broadcasting, if you listen to an interview, if you weren't happened to be in your car listening, you'd miss it. We didn't replay it. It never aired again. It was one and done. So live radio, live television, like it's great to have that impact if you happen to get that audience that is listening right then and there. Podcasting, evergreen, recorded, repurposed, reshared. 80% of people who start a podcast episode listen to it, even if they stop and restart it, pick it up and put it back down and pick it up again. They can share it and send it. You can repurpose it as the guest, as the host. It has so much marketing potential. When I was a speaker, I'd go and I'd impact that audience for the couple days that I was there, but then I'm out of there. It takes me 3 days to go. If I think about travel, in fact, last night, I went somewhere. I was there for 2 hours, took me an hour to get there, 2 hours I was there, an hour to get back. I'm like, 4 hours, right? I could have gotten on 4 podcasts in that same amount of time, impact an infinitely unlimited number of people. So speaking, and I still love, and I probably am next year, we're going to get back because Angel kind of misses being around people. So this isn't a replacement for being on stages. It's an addition to, an enhancement of. If you don't have a stage scheduled for this week, be a podcast guest, right? Get on podcasts to fill in and backfill that opportunity. But more than ever, seriously, as Kingdom Voices, the only way we're going to make an impact is to be everywhere, to have people we would never impact normally, to be able to reach them exponentially. And podcasting is less noisy. You're not competing against a bunch of other voices on the stage. It is
True.
you. It is just you. And so I could go on and on about why podcasting. If I made a list, I could probably come up with 110 reasons, but
Nice. That's your next free PDF. 110 reasons why you should
110
get on a
reasons why.
podcast.
Yes. And but the more I learn about it and the more I dig into it, the more I can't imagine why aren't people getting booked on podcasts. So
Yeah.
I know we're going to do something really special for your VIP access on how to find good stages and find great podcasts. But even if you start, get on Bummer podcast. Like, I don't even care. Just go out and start speaking.
Love it. So I think a lot of people still feel like in order to be in the podcast world, they have to start their own podcast. Do you recommend that people start their own first or start getting on other people's podcasts first?
I think eventually you want to have your own platform. You want to have your own stage, own the microphone. Absolutely. But in the beginning, if you are leveraging just to practice your message, practice your voice, practice your lead magnet, create like all the things. I mean, I still do 2 podcasts a week, Summer. This is how I grew my radio show, I was a guest on other people's radio shows.
Yeah.
So, I've been doing this probably for almost 20 years, 2 a week, 2 a week, 2 a week. If you are a guest, you're like the celebrity, right? You just get to show up, talk about the thing you're most excited about. It's a fun dialogue. It's a fun conversation. You can do it from anywhere. I can be in a hotel room. I can be traveling. I can be home. I don't even remember what the question was. I just lost my
It was
train.
whether they should start with their own or start with other people. And I like what you said,
Start by being
because
a guest.
like, how much more prepared will you be to launch your own podcast if you go get on 50 to 100 podcasts? Like, get really good at being interviewed by other people before you then decide to be the person that's then going to interview. I feel like there's a lot less pressure to just go get on podcasts. Now, some of you are probably going, this is great and all. Teach me how to do it. I want to learn how to do it. And she's going to go into, for our all access pass holders, which if you don't have one, I don't know what can get you people, but she's going to go specifically into but the how, how do you know which podcasts and stuff like that. She's got an amazing gift for you though, you guys. We're going to drop the link for it. It's needaguest.com. Go there. They've got a community of almost 40,000 people. And a lot of them, I'm in that group. I've seen countless things. I've already had connections. I've already been on people's shows. I've already had them on my stuff. So it is a great community where you can find people every day that are posting, I need a guest on my podcast. I am looking for a mom who talks about, homeschooling or whatever it is. It's in there and it's always growing. They do a great job with that community. So that's free for you. So make sure, no brainer, click that, check that out. Get in there ASAP. And then if you didn't already get the digital access, get that, because in addition to she's going to be training here on how to find the podcast, she's got she's including her digital course. She's including her digital access to her Media Bootcamp Masterclass. You are going to get access to that as well. And that's something that people are paying her to have all the time. So it's a no-brainer. Grab that and you'll get those 2 extra bonus things with my friend Angel here. Angel, anything else you want to share or add about just, I don't know, kick them off the log, push them into just go do it?
I think the beautiful thing is you don't have to be great to start. This is your story. Nobody has to convince you that you've already lived it, right? This is your story. And there are so many opportunities every day to share that story. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't even have to be great at public speaking. Right? Most of it's done, online. Most of it's audio. You don't even have to be camera ready. And all the things that you're learning from Summer, really, you already know. I guess that's the thing. You already are feeling the tug that it's time for me to share my message. That's why we're here.
That's good.
If you're stepping away from it, it's because the enemy knows you're about to make an impact. We want to be those people that when we wake up in the morning, right? You've heard this, and you put your feet on the ground, the devil goes, oh, shoot, she's up, right?
Yeah.
If you're pulling away from it, it's because you're getting ready to make a really big impact in the world. And there are people that need this story, but don't let fear, right? Don't let fear hold you back, right? The Lord is near, right? Just call on him, right? And he'll be there.
So good. I love that. You know, she's talking about just go and do it. Now, I think sometimes you guys get stuck because you're like, I still am not sure what my messaging is. Maybe you're like me and you've got 1,042 stories and you're like, I don't know which one to share. And it is important about niching down. It is important about knowing what's your unique, points and stuff that you share about and what sets you apart as a speaker. And so I just really want to encourage you guys. We're going to be offering you the Kingdom. Well, we already have offered you the Kingdom Speakers Blueprint call with my team. If you didn't sign up for that yet, make sure you get on Kingdom Speakers Blueprint call, because we're going to walk through wherever you're at, wherever that thing is that's keeping you stuck from really getting to be that kingdom speaker and influencer God has called you to be. That's what we're going to do. We're either going to help you if it's not that I'm afraid, Angel, I'll get on a podcast tomorrow. I'm just not sure what I'm supposed to share. Then we're going to start there. If you're very clear on your messaging, because everything starts with messaging, then we're going to talk to you about how to monetize that message. We're going to talk to you more about Angel's program or wherever else we feel like you're going to fit. We're going to help you create that blueprint and that roadmap so you can leave here confident. Okay, I know what I'm doing with my life for the next year, so that a year from now, I show up on this summit and I'm a speaker on this summit, or I'm whatever, like I've rock started out with this plan. So if you didn't grab that time, get booked with my team so we can help you with that Kingdom Speakers Blueprint plan, and you've got the actions and you're moving forward. Angel, thank you so much for being here. So great to have you. And, we're going to be doing big and great and amazing things together. So yeah, thanks for that.
I love that. Thanks so much, Summer. It's been a ton of fun. Thanks for having me.
Hello. I'm popping back in here really quick because I totally forgot I talked a whole bunch about our Kingdom Speakers Blueprint call, because that is what we did on the back of our last summit. And when we had about 4 times as many people register for this summit as we did last time, we decided to change what we were doing. And we are going to offer that call. That's what your first call will be for the people that join the program. So if you have joined this program or you're joining and you're jumping in, you guys are going to get that Kingdom Speakers Blueprint, but we just don't have the bandwidth and the team to do that with everybody in addition to all the other free stuff that we have done. So for those of you that, you're putting your skin in the game, we're going to match you with that, put our skin in the game, and we're going to do that. We want to roadmap your speaker journey for 2025. So that's what's going to happen on your first call. I forgot I mentioned that. I may mention it again. We're actually going to have a meeting with all of you guys. If you want to mark your calendar right now, I think it's 2:00 on Monday, 2:00 this coming Monday. I don't want to wait. I'm going to meet with you guys right away. And so during that onboarding call, we were going to talk about what that's going to look like, what your first call with my team will look like. And you guys all get that. Some of you didn't get the top 10 with me, but you will all get that Kingdom Speakers Blueprint Roadmap call for 2025, as long as you jump in the water with us. All right. So yeah, we're not dropping it for everyone, just so you guys all know. All right, let's bring our next speaker up, shall we? Kingdom Speakers, you better get ready, because we got a Jenna Lee in the house. Let me just read you a little bit about my friend here, Jenna Lee. Jenna Lee is a 4-boy mom, pastor, podcast coach, and global speaker with a heart for making disciples and helping people hear God's voice in their everyday lives. Anyone want that? Put God's voice in the chat if you're like, yes, I'm here and I want to learn how to hear God's voice more in my everyday life. Armed with a top-knot lipstick and great shoes to tackle the day, Jen brings over 25 years of ministry experience and hosts a top 1% globally ranked podcast. Don't know if you guys are interested in podcasting, but just put a 1% in the chat. Let's get a little feel here. Drop a 1% in the chat if you're like, okay, hold up. I'd like to have a 1% globally ranked podcast. She has that where she empowers Christian women through her speaking, coaching, and writing. She lives with her husband, Stephen, and their 4 boys, Judah, Levi, Benjamin, and Shiloh in Texas, where they serve their congregation as senior pastors at Community Church in Orange, Texas. Round of applause. Woo! Welcome to the stage, Jenna Lee. Hello, darling.
Summer, I just need to keep you in my back pocket so I can pull you out anytime I need an introduction. You're the best. You're like magical.
I received that. Thank you. I've had somebody say, I think I should just record you introducing me, and then can you do that everywhere?
Yes, exactly.
I like it. I feel like I get to brag about my friends. Well, I'm really glad to have you here on our summit because I was telling you before we hit record, I think that there's so many people that have seen wow, I look really good paused like that with a lazy eye. I don't know what's happening. I didn't
Pull you out anytime I need an introduction. You're the best. You're like magical.
I received that. Thank you. I've had somebody say, I should just record you introducing me, and then can you do that everywhere?
Yes, exactly.
I like it. I feel like I get to brag about my friends. Well, I'm really glad to have you here on our summit because I was telling you before we hit record, I think that there's so many people that have seen like, there's not a podcasting trend. Podcast is like here to stay. Like it's a really valuable tool. And I think it's also one of those that people look at and it seems really daunting, very overwhelming. It's going to be too much tech, too much time, too much whatever. And so they don't actually pursue it. And so I asked you to be on the summit so you could explain that, like, probably wasn't your goal for a really long time to have a podcast, but it's kind of happened and your journey sort of into that, and just how easy it might actually be for some people to just go that route and start it. So share a little bit more about you. I know you're from Texas, you've been in ministry for 25 years. How did this whole podcasting thing come into your life?
Oh, for sure. So when I was younger, I've always like pictured myself being a preacher like Lisa Bevere. She was my spirit animal, if you will. I even have 4 boys, right? I'm on track. And when I was
You're right. She has 4 boys too. Yeah.
No, right. When I was single, I had opportunities. When I was 19, I spoke in a stadium of 85,000 teenagers, like crazy opportunities when I was single and younger. But then when I married a pastor and moved to Texas, I was like, this is my promised land, baby. I'm going to do all the preaching. But no, that was not the case. And there was like 0 opportunity, maybe every so often, a small little opportunity to speak to 12 women over here. And it was very frustrating because I was like, I feel like my voice inside of me is shriveling up and I need to use my gifts. And I don't know, I was waiting for, what's it called? A podium to drop out of the sky and be like, come preach, but that's not how it works. And it took a while to learn that. And so I finally decided, you know what, my gifts are my responsibility to steward. And so I'm going to do what I can do. And I was like, I will start a podcast because that sounded to me like a low pressure, quiet way to get started. Because that was back in 2016, 2017, when not many people were there. And so it took me about 3 or 4 years to figure out what the heck I was doing. Lots of tears, lots of overwhelm, lots of frustration. But then when I did finally start figuring out what I was doing, I started ranking, I started getting more notable guests on my show. Then people around me were like, hey, can you help me start my podcast? And I did. I helped like a dozen or people start their own shows. And then I realized this is very time consuming and I should probably charge for this. So I started a business out of it. So that's how we got here.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, you just dropped some crazy nuggets. I was waiting for a podium to drop out of the sky. I don't know who needs to hear that right now, but stop waiting. Stop waiting for your podium to drop out of the sky. You hear me say this all the time. Literally, boom, podium is in your hand.
Yeah.
In this crazy social media age with the invention of Facebook Live, Reels, TikTok, all that, Instagram, you have the ability to have an audience from all over the world. You have the ability to step up onto a podium in front of the whole world at any given moment. And so stop waiting for the podium to fall out of the sky. That was great. I love that. This was huge. We got to repeat this like 7 times. I realized my gifts were my responsibility to steward. I hope some of you feel the Holy Spirit burn on that one for a second. Your gifts are your responsibility to steward. And so some of you've been waiting instead of stepping into stewardship. So put stewardship in the chat right now if you're going, okay, I'm ready. stewardship. It's my responsibility, and I've got to take this serious. That was really powerful. So it took you 3 to 4 years to figure things out.
Girl, I had no,
Yeah.
okay, at that point, for real, podcasting was still kind of like newish. Like
Yeah.
podcasts had been around since maybe 2000, but
Mhm.
even in 2017, when I got started, it was still it was not taken seriously. And, you know, it just wasn't so popular. But now it's something that is more like, you know, when like businesses all started blogging because they're like, oh, there's a great way to reach the people. Well, now businesses are all starting podcasts because they realize this is a great way to reach the people too. And it's more personal. But just the tech, like I didn't know what SEO was. I didn't know what an RSS feed was. I didn't understand anything about online digital anything. And so I didn't know how to use social media to grow anything. All I knew was that's where I put kids' pictures of my children. And so I literally knew nothing. And I didn't even know coaches were a thing to be able to learn from someone. And so I would have loved to have one, but nope, I piecemealed and did free webinars from everybody and their mother that had one, and none of them were podcast coaches. So it was a lot of scrappy.
Yeah. What were some of the biggest, hurdles or challenges you faced early on?
Probably the tech. Like I remember learning how to use MailChimp. I don't know what you guys all use for your email people, but MailChimp made me want to spit and cuss and lose my Christianity. I wrote them so many emails. I was like, this platform sucks. It's so hard. And so I ended up pivoting and using another one. But just the tech side was really frustrating. And then it was when I would try to do some research, there were so many different voices of expertise speaking in that it was lots of conflicting information. So then weeding through all of that, it was just paralyzing. And so, yeah, it was overwhelming.
That is really good. You're talking about like the too many voices. I never thought about that. I've walked through that same thing. Like when I'm looking to scale my business to the next level, I'll see every Facebook ad under the sun. I'll get on every single person's email list. And then I feel like I'm so bombarded. I'm not even kidding. I have probably at least 50 websites open on my phone of like, ooh, I might be interested in learning what they have to say, or they've got a cool sales technique. And I end up doing nothing because there's too many choices.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that we live in this land of abundance of there being too many choices. I haven't heard anyone phrase it that way. Tell me more about that.
Oh my gosh. Well, it kind of got to where I would see their names. I'd get on their email list. I'd see their names in my inbox, and I would notice this feeling inside of me of like, why are you already emailing me? Like I would get mad, and I'm like, Chinali, you asked for their emails. What is your problem? And so that's where I realized like, okay, Jen, anything complicated can be done one bite at a time. So just like you with the hamburger, right? It's a hamburger, one bite at a time. And so I just had to simplify. I got off of all the email lists that weren't really serving me. And I just started simplifying, and I would reverse engineer, and I would sit with the Lord and say, Lord, you've got to show me how to schedule my day so I can get things done. You've got to show me what to put my hands to first so I can get things done. And so slowly but surely, I started putting pieces together, making some traction, weeding out the stuff I didn't need. It's kind of like when you have a baby and you buy all the stuff for your baby. It's your first child, and you buy the bottle warmer and you buy the Genie diaper pan, all the things that you don't end up using it after 2 weeks. It's kind of like that. People do that with podcasting or anything online. They buy all the tools, all the software, they spend a crap ton of money, and they don't use half of it because you don't really need it. So that's what I learned.
You are cracking me up. You speak in sound bites.
Do
You
I?
literally speak in sound bites. Anything complicated can be done one bite at a time. You speak in mic drops, man. It's so good. So good. I love that you were talking about scheduling your day. So tell us more about that. Tell us more a little bit about what does it look like to have a podcast? How do you schedule your day? How many days a week do you have to work on your podcast?
Okay, so now that I've streamlined, when I first started, I remember the first day that I was like, okay, we're working on the podcast today. I worked on it for 8 hours because I didn't have a routine. So I wasn't sure what was the next step in the process, so it was messy. But now I work on my show about 2 hours a week. 2 to 3,
Wow.
depending on how hard I'm marketing it, or if I'm got a lot of episodes. I mean, there was a few weeks in the summer around when I met you that I had like 40 people get on my calendar at one time. And so for about 6 weeks, I was doing 3 to 4 interviews a day and just like doing all this content. So during that time, I was working a whole lot more hours. But on a regular week, what I have to do is about 2 to 3 hours of work. And that's a pre-interview, an interview, editing the interview, and then publishing the interview. So it's not a whole lot of time, but when you're getting your footing, it takes a little longer. But I was getting kind of overwhelmed because I was not just having a podcast, I was also a mom, I was also a pastor, and then I started my business. But in starting my business, I was also learning how to be in the online space. So I was learning while I was doing. And then so it was just a lot of layers. And so the Lord had to kind of teach me how to structure my week. And because I was like, I did high school. I had 8 classes I was taking, and I worked a job, and I had, a Bible study I led. And so I was like, I've done this before. I could do this
Yeah.
again. And so the Lord just kind of helped me figure out how to strategize my week a little better.
So good. I just realized we haven't said the name of your podcast yet. So people can go jump on Google and find you right now. What's the name of your podcast?
It's called Java with Jen, Hearing God's Voice for Everyday Life.
Java with Jen, hearing God's voice for everyday life. So good. Okay, so you started podcasting. What were you hoping would be the initial result? Was it just like, I just need to share a message, and since you're not giving me a podium, I'm grabbing a mic? Like, what was your initial hope for the podcast?
I'll be honest, my initial hope was 2 things. It was I knew that the only way to develop your gifts is to regularly exercise your gifts. And so I knew that I had to be using my voice if I was ever going to actually be able to be good in a pulpit. And at that point, I was changing a lot of diapers and wiping a lot of noses. And so I needed a low pressure way to develop my voice. And so that was my first goal. But then my second goal was we had been college pastors for years, and a lot of the women who came through our ministry that I had discipled were growing up, having children, getting married, and they would still call for advice. But I didn't necessarily always have enough time to spend hours on the phone with all these different people. So my hope was that in creating my podcast, I could still have a voice into their lives, offering wisdom that potentially, hopefully, could reach more people than just the college students. And now it's listened to in 107 countries. So
Wow, 107 countries. I mean, what was it like when you first found out it was even in one other country? Like,
oh, there's something about the fact that it's digital that makes it not feel real. And
Yeah.
so even though I'm publishing and the details tell me, hey, people in the Ukraine are listening to your podcast, it doesn't, until I hear from them, it just feels like it's a book I'm reading. It doesn't feel like it's tangible life until I get responses from my listeners. And then I'm like, oh, this is affecting people. Like, I think my first fan mail, which is actually the story behind my coffee line, my first fan mail was a listener had written in, and she sent me a bag of coffee. They are coffee roasters or whatever. And it was a thank you because she had listened to one of my episodes that was on marriage, and I had marriage counselors on my show. And so she had been praying for her brother-in-law for a long time because their marriage was on the brink of divorce. And so she connected her brother-in-law and sister to these marriage counselors. They got their marriage restored. He gave his life to Jesus. They've been serving in ministry together ever since. And now their son, it's like 5 years later, now their son feels the call to be a preacher, and he's going on to serve the Lord. And all of that was triggered by this episode I published. And so when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, okay, this actually makes a tangible difference. And they're the ones who run my coffee line now. And so it's just amazing.
love it. I was going to ask you, how'd you come up with Java with Jen? Did you play around with a lot of different titles, or did you just kind of know right from the start?
Okay, so I did I didn't love it at first, actually. I was like, it rolls off the tongue, but I was like, no. And that was the only one I had kind of landed on. And it was because with my college students, they'd come over, we'd have coffee, and we would just chat. And that was where discipleship happened and how I would mentor them. And so I was trying to capture that in a title. And I remember I was at dinner with a bunch of girlfriends, and I was like, girls, what should I name my podcast? I don't know what to call it. And one of them says, you should call it Java with Jen. And I was like, I guess you read my mind. We'll go with that.
So good. Have to point out your next mic drop. The only way to develop your gifts is to regularly use them.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, let's kind of fast forward here a little bit. So you started, how did you go from the transition of I have a podcast to I kind of want to help other people do this?
Yeah. So as I was sharing my wins on Facebook, which I didn't do a lot because I didn't want to sound like boastful or whatever, but I would celebrate whenever my podcast would hit certain milestones. And so I think when my podcast started hitting like top 10 and then top 5% globally ranked, I think it started getting people's attention and they were like, oh, well, maybe she knows what she's doing. And of course, they were seeing my social media posts and things. And so at that point, people started coming to me saying, well, can you give me some pointers? I want to start a podcast. Can you help me out? So I helped out about a dozen people. But I remember it was like a light bulb when I was driving to Houston with my husband and we were just chatting and I was like, babe, your messages are really good. We need a way for people to listen back to them on Wednesday night. I should just start you a podcast and we'll just drop your recordings on there. He's like, okay. And so in the car on my cell phone, I created his podcast in like 5 minutes and I created the artwork. I named it, registered it, published it. And I was like, well, that was stupid easy. Why did it take me so long? And so obviously there's more to it than just that. But that was kind of light bulb. I was like, wait, I could probably help people. And since they were asking, I had like 6 people waiting on me to get back with them. And so I said, let's just create a little mastermind. I put together a mastermind program in like 3 weeks. I built out the curriculum, found all the students, sold it, marketed it, launched it in 3 weeks. And it was really successful. And so that's kind of where it all started.
How many people did you end up having in that first launch?
About 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Okay, so now that's how it started. Now kind of what you got going on. I know you've got a bunch of different little courses and sort of what's your track now? Where are you at with?
Yeah, so if basically I really like to work with people who are authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, or ministers, because those tend to be people that steward their message very intentionally and they
Yeah.
take it very seriously. And they tend to be willing to do the hard work of not just starting their show, but actually marketing it and networking and doing the after legwork. That's really important. And so I have 2 different ways that I can help people start a show. One is a digital course. If they're like, I just want to do it on my own time. I have a lot of DIY in my blood. I'll figure out anything I get stuck on. Just tell me what to do.
Nice.
Then they'll do the digital course. But people who are like, ain't nobody got time for digital course. I need to get this up now. And I'd really rather I had you helping me every step of the way. I have a 2-day jumpstart, which is where I coach with them one-on-one for 2 solid days. And their
Wow.
show is up by the end of it, as well as a lot of them will have a lead magnet created, an email sequence, an opt-in page so they can grow their email list. And
Yes. So there's a point to the podcast. It's helping them grow. So many people are like, I have a podcast. What you doing with it? Nothing. Like
Exactly.
so
And my
great.
goal with my students is like help them avoid pod fade. And pod fade is the term of those podcasters that don't make it past 7 episodes is the average lifespan of a podcaster. Yeah, 3 to 7 episodes is the average lifespan. And so if anyone makes it past 7, they're already performing above 90% of podcasts. And if they
Wow.
make it past 1 year, they're already performing above the top, like above 3% of the podcasting demographic, because
Wow.
most people just don't go the distance. And I think it's because podcasting doesn't explode like YouTube. It's not likely a podcast episode is just going to go viral. It
Yeah.
might go viral if you put a clip on social media. It might go viral if you put a clip on YouTube, but podcasting is the journey of the hare, not the tortoise. And so it's steady. It's steady. But the beautiful thing is most people don't have the patience for the steady or the perseverance. And so they don't celebrate the wins that come. They just give up. And so if you just stay the course, you're going to end up a top podcaster because most people phase out. And that's what people don't realize. It's actually easy, relatively easy to become a big fish in a small pond as a podcaster.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Well, we know you have had like crazy, amazing success. I loved hearing the full journey. And how even that you had all this failure and stuff for years. I think so often people see like our finished product, but they're like, you have no idea the tears behind closed doors I cried. So we know you've had success. I'd love to hear some client success stories. What have you been able to duplicate and help other people to accomplish with their podcasting?
Yeah, for sure. So I have one student I can think of, Krista. Now I love how you mentioned that one of your clients was like super introverted and scared, and she's like killing it now. That was Krista. She came to me actually as a guest on my show because she had written a book and she heard about my coaching program and she was like, I've been wanting to start a podcast. Very natural next step for authors. And so she went ahead and signed up with my first round. And she was so introverted. She was so scared. She was like, I do not want to do this, but I'm doing it to obey the Lord. And I was like, good girl. And so she did her podcast. She took it very seriously. Within 6 weeks, she was already a top 10% globally ranked show. And around the same time frame of 6 weeks, she hit charts in 4 countries and she was number 4 in like Peru. And then she's gone on since then to start a second podcast. She didn't even tell me about it. I found about it after the fact. She started a second podcast and she's done so well with it. It's been living at the #1 podcast spot in multiple African countries for weeks in her category, like just living there. And it's a simple podcast. I think it's called Praying Daily. And it's just prayers she prays over a cup, maybe 5 minutes max every day. And it's living at the top 1. I have another student who they came to me, they were guests on my show as well. And they joined my network because they already had a show, but they were struggling to grow their podcast. So they joined my network, which is a membership that I have for people who already have shows. They can keep growing. And so I started giving them a bunch of strategies. I sat down with their team, kind of did an audit, said, here's some things I would change and adjust. And they said within just a couple months, they went from a top 5% podcast to a top 2.5% podcast working with me in the network. And so it's just neat. But the common denominator is that when they're willing to put in the work, they get the results. But if they don't put in the work, then, it's not as great.
Well, and when you say average life is 3 to 7, I'm like, okay, I could start a podcast and do more than that. I've been talking about starting a podcast for years. I was going to start one last year and said, God's like, no, start 3 TV shows. So we started 3 TV shows and we've talked about, we should just take the TV shows and throw those in the podcast. Maybe that'll happen one of these days. Generally, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. You have a couple things for us. One, you do have some free thing for everybody that's tuned in and been a part of this Kingdom Speakers and Influencers Summit. What do you have for them today?
Yeah, so super simple. I know we like quick wins. When I got started, I didn't have like an overview. I had a lot of pieces, but I didn't know where I was in my journey because I didn't know what all was included in the journey of creating a show and growing it and all the things. So I created this 7-step checklist. It's actually technically more than 7, but it's 7 major steps that it kind of overviews the process of starting your show, growing it, and monetizing it. So it's a real quick glance at kind of your milestones you need to be crossing. It's almost like a to-do list checklist of what you need to be doing. That I feel like helps for giving perspective and gaining momentum. Because if you know where you're going, you can kind of turn up the speed a little bit because you know where you're headed. So that's what that's about. And then the other free gift that I have for people is an AI training on how to save lots of hours.
Well, we got to tell them this is for our all access pass holders. She's actually going to give our all access pass holders for free an AI training that she actually sells. We're just going to go ahead and she's gifting it because she's awesome. And then you also get access to her additional training with us as well. So, if you don't have that yet, I don't know what you're waiting for.
Yeah, so they can get the
here. What were you saying?
So much. I was gonna say they can get the checklist at javawithjenpodcast.com.
Yes, awesome. My team probably already put the link in there because they're really good at that.
Perfect.
So thank you so much for being here. You're just fun. You're inspiring. You're ambitious. You're all the things I strive to be. So thank you for being here.
Same, Summer. Same. It was good to be here.
Who knows? They're going to start a podcast. Drop podcast in the chat. Woo. Summer is. Well, I actually want to start the Summer Day Show. You know, with a name like that, you might as well have the Summer Day Show or Sunshine with Summer Day. How about that? Podcast bound. I love it. Get here. Ian has 4 podcasts already. Wow. I know something you don't have, Ian. You don't have the Unleashed to Speak speaker training program yet. And yeah, that would go great with your 4 podcasts. Betty's gonna do a podcast. Does anybody know what they want to title their podcast? Love it. Nubia, Angela, Sonia, Pete. Come on, Pete, Aline. Love it. So those of you that have lower registered voices, your voices are really good for podcasts too. So if you're like, you've been that, yeah. Need to monetize it. Well, I may or may not know somebody who can help you do that. Someone who's really good at monetizing things. I have what you call a YouTube podcast. Yes. So that's called a video podcast. If you already have a video podcast, we suggest you also, because it's very little work. If you already have a podcast on YouTube, get the audio off of that. There's systems and things you can do, and also put it on all the podcasting platforms, because you never know where you're going to blow up. So having video stuff on YouTube is awesome because it's super, strike that, reverse it. It's super searchable on YouTube. And also, there's been people who didn't have traction on YouTube, got the audio on the podcast world, and then exploded. So Angelica, podcast 2, Glory Stories, Real Talk, the chat room. Let's go. Sibling Synergy. Oh, that's a great title. Alignment with Aline. That's cute. I love it. Good play on words. Okay, here we go. My podcast is Mondays with Coach Rice. I love it. Unstoppable Truth. Already the Thankful Revolution. Okay, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Ooh, My Bible Life. So good. I just want y'all to know, I just think in content. That's like how my brain is. I helped a lot of people with their book titles, their program titles, all kinds of stuff. I interviewed a lady, and while I was interviewing her, it was like I saw a sign behind her. God gave me the name of her TV show, and I said, "You're supposed to have a TV show." She said, "Yeah." I said, Do you know what the name of it is yet?" She goes, "No." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure God downloaded it." And I spoke it to her, and she was like, "What?" It was so cool to see happen. So just know that if we get a chance to work together, that is something I'm good at. Yes, like the Divinely Designed Life is a big step up from, come here, Val. we haven't seen you yet, but not everybody knows you yet. You're the perfect person to talk about branding and how sometimes someone comes in and helps you to shift. You're muted.
I was just about to type a comment to Marcelo to highlight. I could have done a podcast called Dead Duck Diaries.
So as a coach, I may not always agree with choices you make, and my job is to lovingly sometimes steer you in other directions. And when I first met Val, she was very passionate about a brand. What was that brand called? We lovingly called it the Dead Duck. What was it called?
Thankfully, it was just an idea, like an early concept idea, and I had it run with it. No, it was called Beloved Dove. I was like, oh, and you were like, that sounds like a soap. So I was like, all right. And then we came up with the Divinely Designed Life, which is great. And then actually I launched a podcast a few weeks ago, and I wasn't sure at first what to call it. And I had an idea, and you were like, no, I don't think it should be that. You were like, I think it should just be called the Divinely Designed Life. So thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Because you were kind of looking for other branding. And I'm like, what are you doing, babe? Like, you came up with the reason Divinely Designed Life is so really cool, you guys, is Val is also an interior designer. And so it's really cool that now she's like, I'm helping you now design your interior. So it's kind of a play on words and everything for what she had before. But it was some fun coaching calls when I jokingly was like, no, Dead Duck's not happening. Because Beloved Dove, you don't know what it is, right? And it's it's beautiful words, and a beloved dove sounds beautiful. And we want to make sure when you guys come up with concepts and branding that either it has great intrigue, or people can get a feel for what it is, right? If you guys hear Fear into Faith, you don't have to sit around and think, is that a plumbing company? Right? Like it's very, hopefully, at least somewhat obvious of Fear into Faith, what you could expect with that. And the Divinely Designed Life is really good branding on helping you to know that, or master the stage. Hopefully, you know what you're going to do. You're going to master the stage. So branding and stuff like that is really, really important. So some of you are like, oh, I just don't know what I'd call it. Stay in the step you're in. Your next step is to start where we're at. And then just know, man, if that's something that you want coaching on, I excel at that. Coach Maya's great at it. Devin's great at it. We've got just a team of people. Since you're popped up, do you want to say anything about, you've been a client of ours almost 2 years?
Oh my goodness, so much. And honestly, like that was one of the hardest pieces of advice, like for me, and I know a lot of you are in the same boat. When I was first starting, I'm like, I have so many ideas. There's so many things I could teach on. There's so many directions I could go in, and it stifled me. It made me like not know how to move forward, because I was afraid to niche in too much. And honestly, I was saying in the chat earlier, I just was on a podcast about an hour ago with Molly Trotter Gomez, who I met from the Kim 10 talk through you, Summer. So thank you. Yes, I was just on Molly's podcast. And it was the first time that I actually was she said, whatever you want to speak on, pray about it. And the Lord really connected all those pieces in my messaging with my interior design background and the Divinely Designed Life, which I've had those concepts for a while, but it's the first time I really was able to like mesh them all together, and it felt so right. It felt like, yes, this is the direction. But Summer, I mean, you have changed my life. I also put in the chat, maybe some of you saw, I have known that I was supposed to be a speaker for 30 years. 30 years ago, when I came back to my faith, came back to the Lord, I'm like, I was 20 years old. I'm like, I need to share this. Like, people need to know about how awesome God is. And I knew I was supposed to be telling people on platforms. At that time, it was only TV. That's all we had was TV. So the seed was planted. But then when a student is ready, the teacher appears. And the Lord connected me with Summer in the most miraculous, I can't tell the story now, but the funnest, best way ever, Holy Spirit connection. And it's been, almost 2 years now. And like, it's changing everything. I'm finally like moving into that deeper calling, and it's just right. But I needed the help. I could not do it on my own. And honestly, the podcast too, I got help with that. I got a program. It wasn't with Summer. It was with someone that Summer connected me to. And I would not have launched. And I gave myself the month of August. I'm like, I'm going to focus on this and do it. And I did it. And it feels so good. It's like I created my own platform. I created my own stage, everything you're talking about. And I could have never done it. I mean, I shouldn't say never done it, but God provided you and Master the Voice and your teaching and your programming to get me to the point where I would get that branding together, get my messaging clear so that I could move forward and really fulfill the divine design that God had on my life.
So much. I'm so glad that you've been here. It's awesome to see your face. You're very encouraging. And can I just put you on the spot?
Sure. Maybe. I don't know. What do we do?
One of my favorite things about Val as a speaker is she sometimes speaks in ways that other people don't speak. She has this just really incredible certain gift that I don't want to necessarily give away. And you don't have to do a 3-minute speech, but maybe just a little, just a little feel of, you know what I'm talking about? Just a little taste of what as a speaker. No pressure.
No pressure. Are you talking about like spoken word kind of thing?
That.
Okay. Well, so I just want to, okay, Val, you're fine. You got this. I just want to say too, like, no matter how much you do this, I mean, the more you do it, I think, obviously you get that level of confidence and you're like, yeah, sure. But like, I'm sure that people who have been doing this a long time, Summer, even you too, like when someone puts you on the spot, sometimes too, you're like, so I'm feeling that. And I do feel that.
Here's the mic. And I'm going, okay, great. So Val, here's the mic.
You said it earlier. You said it's better to be prepared and not have the moment than to have the moment not be prepared.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not prepared, but I'm going to go Holy Spirit. I'm going to try to remember some of what I did. That was a year and a half ago. But let's see. All right. Whew. Psalm 4:8 says, "In peace I will lie down and sleep." But what if we don't have peace? What if we can't sleep? Right? What if there are things in our mind? All right, I'm already forgetting. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's all good.
Because you're so good. Everybody was like, what?
I had you. All right. I had you for a moment. Now I'm
Get
gonna
back
hold the moment.
Get back into it. It's amazing.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just do
I
the
feel like
beginning
I
again.
feel like the moment I'm gonna use it as a teaching moment.
Great.
I'm gonna kind of, may I do that instead?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing it anyway. You gave me the stage, so here I am. You gave me the mic, so here I am. So here's a teaching moment. I have been like working with Summer, practicing getting the right words. I did this 3-minute alliteration. I did a 3-minute spoken word for the first competition. And I had it memorized. Like I practiced and I was like, boom, 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 right? Because one of the things that I get concerned about is memory, right? Like, am I going to memorize this, right? And when you're doing a spoken word, like you kind of do need to like know what you're saying to
Just
keep it going.
clarify.
So anyway, I
Clarify
had
really
it down.
quick. Can I clarify really quick? So in case
Yes.
you guys don't know spoken word, what she's talking about is she was rhyming. It was almost like a mini rap. So she was rhyming every other line or whatever and had this syncopation to it. Somebody said, do all speeches like a spoken word? No. So hers was like a certain cadence and a rhythm and a rhyme to it, which is really cool.
Yeah. So real quick, because I'll make it short, I had that thing down. I made it through the first round. I was like, wow, made it into the finals. Wow, got to the finals and blanked right in the middle for like 30 seconds, 35 seconds, which felt like 30 minutes. But something beautiful happened in that. I wasn't panicked. I wasn't freaked out. I just stood there and I was like, okay, God, this is interesting. What's happening? And I didn't like, I was just like, okay. And then I picked it back up and somehow I got within time and like finished it up. And I was like, all right, I did it. And afterwards, like, I didn't feel bad. I was just like, that was interesting. And the Lord spoke to me about it like a day or so later. And I said, Lord, what was that? And he said, are you willing to be a fool for me? Are you willing to get on a stage and blank and not know what you're saying for me? And I was like, yes, Lord, I'll do whatever you want. I will do that for you. I will be a fool for you. So he taught me something in that it's not about me. And this is not about you either, right? This is about God's calling on your life, right? And we get to make mistakes and forget things and move on. Some are so great, not that you forget things all the time, but you're so great and you're teaching us even as we're on here of how to just roll with it and go. So what I will do, I promise that I will go in the Facebook page and I will do that 3-minute speech, that alliteration and that spoken word so you guys can all hear it. But I think what was meant to happen right here was that teaching moment. Just say, this isn't about you. Keep going. Even if you mess up, give it to God and keep going.
So love that. Will you just one more time just do the opening line? Because even that, can't you guys tell how cool her voice is and why I was like, you have to have a podcast. We're gonna close our eyes and listen.
Well,
just do the one.
all right.
opening-
If I can,
No, just do the
I
one-
have it. I can do it real quick if you want. I can pull it up super fast and do it. No.
Just the opening line and then put the whole video in the chat. You have the whole thing. Right?
Psalm.
Wait. You have it?
I have it right here. I can pull it up. I can pull it up
Do it.
super quick if you want. I can do it. I can do it. Just give me a second.
Well, then
Give
we're
me
gonna
a second.
because it's worth the wait. Didn't you guys all lean in? Didn't she have this beautiful like tone of voice and everything? It took me months to convince her to get the podcast. I was like, oh my gosh, I could listen to you all day. And we don't care if you're reading it. It'll be fabulous. Is your podcast?
All right. Well, I won't do the whole thing. I'll have a little bit of it here. I'll just do a little bit of it. I have it right here, and then I will do the whole thing. Okay, ready? Here we go. Psalm 4:8 says, in peace I will lie down and sleep. But what if there are things that rob us from sleep and pull us from that place of peace? What if we're not sitting in serenity, but we're sitting instead on a judgment seat? A seat that was never meant for us, yet there we sit and fume and fuss, moaning about things that don't even concern us. We sit there playing judge and jury, or maybe we're choosing a seat of worry. Perhaps we don't even sit at all, too much to do, no time to stall. We hustle and bustle and hurry and scurry, which just leads to more anxiety and worry. But what if we desire to raise our thoughts higher, to still our minds and stop this race? We need someone to put us back in our place, that place where we can lie down and sleep. It is Jesus. He is peace. It is Jesus that frees us. He is the place. And all we have to do is look in his face and say, "Come and dwell and live in me, for you alone are my Prince of Peace." That was actually a different version. But anyway,
so
There we
good.
go.
I'm crying. That was so good.
I had such a good coach, I just have to say, like, when you have a good coach,
You know
you
what?
do
I
things.
just have to say when you're operating in your zone of genius, and I'm so grateful even for them stealing my company and all the pain that I went through. I feel like I thought my whole life was directing theater because it was 25 years of my life. And then I realized, Val, it was 25 years of training so that I could be
Yeah.
here with you today.
Amen.
And I love it.
Amen.
Coaching speakers is easy for me. I pray all of you to be blessed in a career and blessed in a life where you get to do something that's easy and it gets results and you see it. I mean, when you guys come in person on stage, I'm not mapping out. I don't have all, like, I just show up and I talk to you and it just flows from that 25 years of experience that also was a roller coaster ride of a lot of pain and all kinds of stuff for me. Val, you're a treat. Can I share really
Love
quick?
you.
Val blanked, by the way, guys. I chose that moment as a bathroom break because I knew Val was going to crush it because she was my client and she crushed the first 2 rounds. I had judges texting me. I just had the winner in my room, right? And so I'm in the bathroom peeing and then everything goes silent. And I'm like, what is wrong? Oh my gosh, what cut out? What happened? Hustle. Get out there. And Marcel's face is like this. And I'm like, what happened? He goes, she totally blanked. I go, what do you mean she blanked? What happened to the sound? He goes, she stopped talking. I'm like,
Best
that
thing ever.
whole time. He said, yes, that whole time. And I was like, I'm so bummed I wasn't in the room to watch her just stay composed and watch her just go, okay, here you go. I'm going to keep going with it. And she did. And here you are. Like, you didn't go, oh my gosh, I never should be a speaker ever again,
Oh, and by the way, that day outside at the time I was speaking, there was like massive thunderstorms. It was like it was like, I'm like, all right, Satan, like you're not stopping this. And that's why I think it's so important to share that I have that story to share to encourage all of you speakers to just keep going and just don't let those moments, stop you from doing what you're called to do.
I know you'll be sharing that story on stages all over the world. So,
Yeah,
it's all-
now instead of saying like how many seconds it is, I'll be like the length of Summer's pee break. That's how long I blanked. How long it took for Summer to go take a pee. Just makes
Yeah,
the story more interesting,
Can we not? Can we just, can we delete this out of the recording, please?
It's all
All
good.
right. I hope everybody else finds us half as funny as we find each other. Okay, Sean is laughing. Dawn's laughing. Okay, good. Everybody's laughing. All right, friends, I'm going to bring up our next speaker, and I want to remind you, okay, in just a little bit for the all access people, Pat Quinn is coming, and he's going to do live speaker coaching with you guys, and that is worth way more than $97. Oh, wait, the price went up. Way more than $119. So if you didn't grab that, you still have a chance to grab it. You've got a little bit of time to think about it, but he's coming at 3 o'clock in just a smidge. So let's bring up that next speaker right now. Kingdom speakers, here it is. You better sit up tall and get ready because we got a little Spitfire in the house. Let me just tell you about my dear friend, Amy Varley. She is a dynamic and compassionate leader known for her extraordinary ability to connect with people from all walks of life. With a natural gift for building relationships, she has become a master connector. Y'all, drop master connector in the chat if that's something you'd like to be. Let me just tell you, just side note from her bio here, she really is a master connector. I've seen her in action. It's why I asked her to be here. I've never met anybody that knows how to connect with people like Amy. So she's become a master connector, helping individuals and organizations expand their networks and foster meaningful collaborations on a global scale. Amy's career has been defined by her remarkable success in sales, where she has consistently ranked among the top 10 in multiple different companies. Her approach to networking and relationship building has made her a sought-after speaker and she has traveled the world sharing her expertise with audiences in various countries. Her unique ability to teach others how to network with intention and authenticity has empowered countless individuals to elevate their careers and personal lives, whether on stage or in one-on-one conversations or through her network building teachings. Amy Varley is on a mission to inspire people to live with intention, connect with authenticity. Okay, strike that. I got to try that again. Amy Varley is on a mission to inspire people to live with intention, connect with authenticity, and leave a meaningful legacy. Welcome to the stage, Amy Varley.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
You're so awesome. It's really fun to read your bio since I've been friends with you for a really long time. I've actually known Amy for like, I don't know, Amy, it's like 10, 15 years now, right?
Yeah.
And can I just start? Can I just be real as y'all? Can I just be real quick? I'm going to just throw it down like it is. I was actually really intimidated by Amy when I first met her. I recently told her this because she is this just sophisticated, gorgeous, well put together blonde, and she's small but mighty. She's a little bit petite, but she's got this huge presence that takes up this whole room. And she was making bank in network marketing. And back when I met her, just kind of was, I was running my theater company, not really doing anything big with my life and thinking I could never, ever be like anyone like Amy. And so I was both inspired and intimidated by her. Drop that in the chat. Drop intimidated if you guys, have you ever done that? Have you ever been inspired yet been intimidated at the same time by someone? Please let me know if I'm not totally alone. But that was my experience in the beginning with Amy. And then we recently got reconnected, right? Because you came and you were on our Bible TV show and have been hanging out. And then God moved me to Texas. And now Amy and I don't live too far from each other. So we get to hang out and do life together and have our kids play together and stuff like that, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello, welcome. Glad to be here.
Always love spending time with you. So thanks for having me.
I realized I read your bio and they didn't even let you say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Well, I'm glad to have you here. I know you're going to be talking about the power of networking. You have a free gift that we're going to talk about in a little bit called Networking Like a Boss. And you really know how to network like a boss. And I think sometimes, and y'all can drop in the chat how you feel, I think sometimes that we get this sort of negative impression about networking, or people don't feel comfortable doing it. And what I've watched from you is you've just kind of taken any and all stigma out of networking, and you've been able to show the importance of networking, whether it's, sales or relationship or whatever. You've helped me to see tremendous value in it. So I'm really glad you're here. When did you start this magical networking career that you've had? When did you, I don't know, did you network starting at 5? Like, how did this happen for you, Amy?
Okay, so I'll give everybody hope then, because I actually used to be shy. And I know nobody would believe that, if they know me now, because I would like talk to a brick wall. But when I was young, I was so shy. And actually, my grandma, I remember her telling me, networking got you out of your shell. And so people really started to notice. I went from being shy and intimidated, like you were saying, by people, to just talking to everybody, and just truly, I always loved people and wanted to be in a relationship, but I was a little bit scared to talk to people, had a little bit of fear around that. And I actually got introduced to the industry of networking and direct sales, and that led me to personal growth and development, which led me to learn the skill set of networking. So that's kind of where it all started.
I love it.
Up with it.
So you were shy growing up. When you
Yes.
started networking, was it awkward? Were you scared? Were you clumsy about it? Like, how did it start for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I can't remember everything, but I'm sure I tripped over my own words. I probably said really awkward things. And I actually was doing something that I didn't realize is actually a valuable skill. I would be a little intimidated, so I would look down at my phone and be like, we should get each other's numbers. And I would just like look right at my phone and just like, I'm gonna start typing it. And that actually ended up being a great skill set that I taught to people who were afraid to get someone's number. Because then if you're just going to get their number, people feel awkward if you're already going to type it in your phone, like not getting it to you. So
So
it's,
there is tip number one. Tip number one is like get people's numbers and just be about it because it's hard for them to say no when you already have your phone out. Although you started using your phone as a crutch, you're like, I don't want to look you in the eye, so I'm just going to stare at my phone, which
exactly.
the skill in you of asking for everybody's number. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. We probably all could do a better job of connecting and asking for people's numbers. Okay, so you've heard me say this a lot, Amy. I tell people, you know, I think other people would argue with me, but I teach the number one most important skill in all of business, and that's learning to be a confident, clear communicator. No matter what you're doing, if you can't communicate the message on your heart, if you can't share your story, it's going to fall flat with people. Okay, tell me your spin on, you know, why is learning the skill of networking one of the most important skills in all of business?
There's so many reasons why I think that, but I feel like people are just longing for human connection and they want to be connected to people. And I think we learned from one of our mentors, like people are not going to want to do business or give you money if they don't feel cared about and connected with. So I just feel like it's so important to have a heartfelt connection with people instead of just, you know, going to people for business. It's actually a true connection where you make friendships. And I feel like God put us like in communication with certain number of people because like those certain people crossed our paths. So they must be important that God wants us to know these people. He wants us to be connected with these small group of people that we actually get the privilege of coming into contact with. So you just never know what those relationships can lead to.
I like how you mentioned, you know, networking with people, not for a sale. And that's what I really like about you, Amy. You are so good at you're just always gathering people and you are a master connector. Like I think there's people that are alive because you literally helped or their kids alive because you helped connect them to this right, like health source or this thing over here. You're not somebody, and maybe you can teach a little bit of this today. You know, there's so many people doing sales, doing direct sales, doing digital marketing, doing network marketing wrong. And all they do is turn everybody off. Like, haven't heard from you in 2 years, stop being my friend. And then, hey, do you want to buy this from me? And you're like, what? I feel like so many people, they're just lost. And then they're not trained well on how to value relationship first. And that's what I love about you. You know, you and I are doing some business stuff together because it's relationship first with you. And I just admire that about you. I feel like when you get somebody's number, your heart's core is like, oh, someday I'm going to help you. I don't know how yet, but I just want to help you. And it's just beautiful. So can you talk a little bit into that about, you know, how teach us something that people can do when they're at an event or somewhere. What can they do to be able to network and foster relationships? Because we're not taught how to do relationships. I wish high school would do an entire year of like, this is relationships 101 course that you take as a freshman, right?
Yeah, and I think you're right because a lot of times people are just so excited about what they're doing, they just shove it down people's throats. And I think if you come from a place of like for me, it's like I feel like people need hope, and we have all kinds of resources that God bless us with to give people hope. So it may be hope in their health, it might be hope in their finances, it might be help in a friendship. We just don't know who's hurting and suffering out there. And just a simple hi and a smile and wanting to connect with someone can change their whole entire life. So like it is true what you said, because it's like, I want to know this person. I don't know how I'm going to help him yet. I might help him find a husband, or I might help him get a business deal, or I might help him, you know, get connected to a coach or something like that. I genuinely want to help people. And whatever that looks like I want to be able to do that. And I feel like when we come from a place of, I have a gift that's been a blessing to me, and I want to bless you with the gift, and what you decide to do with it is okay or not okay. I think that's such a powerful way to look at something versus trying to get somebody to do something. It's like, what gift do I have that I can give to them? You
So
know,
good. Can I apply that really quick to speaking? I think that that's so powerful. It's one of the reasons we work so hard on helping our speakers to know what their gift is. When you have figured out what's your messaging, what's the unique thing that you bring to the world, what's your gift, I feel like it's a lot easier to present that to the world. It's a lot easier to say, okay, like we'll just put about the speaker thing, right? Like I know my gifting is helping people to master their voice, master the stage, master an audience, and be the best version of a speaker that they can be. And if they're doing it for the kingdom, like, come on. And part of that process is helping them to know what that gift is, because when you know the gift, you're so confident. I can talk to anybody all day, every day and go, you know what? I would love to help you to like, if you want to be on a microphone, I want to teach you how to master that thing like a boss so that you're confident, you're not afraid. Like, you know, that was you, Amy, before you came into my life. I
Yes.
just want that so bad. But I feel like I have a gift for you and here it is. And if you want it, I think it could really change your life. It could bring a lot of hope into your life. And if you don't, that's okay too. So we work helping speakers to get to that place, to know their unique gift. You know, like we have Chad and he wants to help addicts, and he talks about just helping there not to be people that are struggling with addiction and the people struggling that love them. And when you know that what that gift is, I feel like it's a lot easier. So
Yes.
thank you. I'm glad that you brought that up. It's about giving the gift. How can people, let's say they don't know what their gift is yet. Let's just take it to just straight connecting, right? What's a tip that you have for somebody, especially if they're shy? I love that you said you were shy. Just to be able to like connect with more people and literally ask for their number. Like, what's a tip that you have for people that they're like, I don't know how to network, but in case you guys aren't paying attention, learning the networking for the kingdom, all of you get to learn how to network better, because at the end of the day, we're supposed to lead people to the cross, right? And the better that we can network and connect with people, the more they actually want to hear what we have to say. And if all we have to say is like, Jesus is king, bam, the more that we can network and connect. So guys, really listen to what Amy has to say. So
Yeah, there's a few things that came up for me when you were talking. First of all, like whatever we do is our marketplace ministry. So like connecting with people, I've led so many people to Christ through connecting and networking. And it's because they've trusted me in business or whatever value I brought to their life, that they trust me enough to go to church, or they trust me enough to look deeper at something. And so I really feel like whatever gift that God gave you, it is your marketplace ministry. And I think if you don't know what your gift is, what I figured out is it's something that comes easy to you, that other people, it's hard for them. So for me, like connecting is so easy. So when people struggle in the beginning, it was hard for me because I was like, oh, it's just like comes so natural. Like I thought everybody could do it. And building teams, I learned, wow, there are people that really struggle to connect. And I really struggle to get somebody's number. So I think if something comes natural to you and it's just something you would just do anyway, then that's a gift that God gave you. But I would just say, instead of being afraid, look at it as what do you have to offer them instead of what can you get from them. I think that takes the pressure off, because I think when people get weird about it is they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to ask this person to do something for me. So like if I was going to invite them to check out your speaker program, I know how much you've changed my life and how I used to have panic attacks, even though I was speaking in front of thousands of people, but inside my heart was racing. And going to your program, I've been able to just get up and like not have to deal with that anymore. So I know 100% if I introduce somebody to you to do your speaker program and they want to be a speaker, I know you're going to help them. So I don't have fear in talking to people about you should do Summer's program, because I know that it works. But I think
thank you. Shameless plug if you're listening. Just kidding. It's so good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Keep going.
Yeah. So I think if you're not looking what to gain, but you're looking what you can give, it's really easy to connect with people. And people are just, they love recognition, they love appreciation, they want to be seen and heard. And I think just coming from a place of love, of like complimenting them and connecting with them genuinely, and just seeing what God has for that relationship.
Good. That's good. I think it's a safe bet that just about everybody doesn't feel like they have enough encouragement in their life. So if you're just connecting, going, you know, I'm gonna be at this event. I'm gonna connect with 5 people that like, man, I just want to get their number and I want to send them an encouraging message when I think about them. and think of what's the value you can bring. And if you're not sure, you can bring the value of encouragement. And that is a tremendous and amazing, amazing gift. God took me in a season that I feel like he's about to do it again, Amy, where I was really low. I was really struggling, you guys. I was in my depression. I was in a bunch of other things. And he was showing me I need to be outwardly focused instead of inwardly focused. And he gave me names of literally like 10 women rock stars that I just thought were like, these are incredible women. And he said, I want you to message them every day. I want you to encourage those that are pouring out so much to other people. And so I just started like, okay, Lord, what do you have for these women today? And I would send them an image of like Wonder Woman, you know, going, you're a rock star. And that's it. I had no intention. I had nothing for them to buy other than the Lord was like, go encourage those people that you think maybe they're fine. They're like these superstars. And yet those are the ones sometimes that need the most encouragement. And so that was it. That was my only intention, was just go encourage them. And so I love that, Amy. I think that's powerful. Hopefully that's powerful for you guys, is what can you bring? And if all you can bring is just an encouraging word that day, forge the relationship, care more about what you can give to somebody than the fear of like connecting with them. Okay. So that was a great tip for like maybe beginners. What's a cool tip that you could give even for somebody like me? I'm not afraid to talk to anyone. I talk to anyone any day, anytime, anywhere. You cannot get on an airplane with that without probably getting a prayer before you get off the airplane from me. Like, so what's a kind of an expert tip of something that you do, putting you all on the spot, for people that aren't afraid to do that? How can we maximize and go next level with networking?
So one thing that I like to do is show appreciation, like in a thank you card or a gift. And also remembering to like make those touches. So like if you make a touch and you meet all these people, but you never remember to go back and like touch them again, like the follow-up basically, because you just never know. And 90% of the time they're like, wow, I was just thinking about you. Or,
Wow.
you know, I really needed this today. Or, you know, oh, wow. Like it's amazing to me. Like whenever I do that, it's like, I can tell that it was God reminding me like this person needs to be reached out to. So I think for us that we can connect, we just have to remember to like follow up, because we can just connect all day and meet all these people. And then sometimes I forget amazing people. And then it's just like they come out of nowhere. And I feel like that's God's reminder of, hey, this person like needs a touch, or this person could use some.
So good. So good. Those little touches. And she did talk about send a thank you card or a gift. Y'all, I got a box of cookies. Amy sent my husband and I a cookie. It says my name on a cookie. I almost don't want to eat it. It looks like a work of art. And when I got it, I was like, okay, honey, I need to learn more from Amy, because this is amazing. Who would not? Even if you don't eat sugar, even if you don't anything, you have your name, thank you, Summer, on a cookie. Pretty powerful, pretty powerful. So I love that. Well, you've got a couple of things for us. So one, she has a free gift for everybody. And you can get that on her website, amyvarley.com. And we'll drop the link to that as well. She's got a free gift in there for y'all, and it's networking like a boss. So she wants to have a chance to get that in front of you, networking like a boss. And it'll give you all kinds of different tips to be able to engage and be at the level that Amy is. It's fabulous. You gotta grab that. It's just gonna help you to practice networking in your everyday encounters, you know, whether you're running errands, grocery shopping, any of that. It's going to help you to have a better opportunity for influence in those circumstances and situations, which is awesome. And then for those of you that have the all access pass, Amy has a training she's going to drop in there. Tell us a little bit more about that training.
So I'm going to be talking about influence, like the gift of influence, and how you can use an acronym to be able to help remind yourself of really powerful tips that you can use to have influence and connect with more people.
It's good. It's good. That's amazing. Thank you for being here. This went by like really, really fast. I appreciate you and everything that you're sharing and teaching people how to go next level in their networking and the importance of it. And I appreciate you sharing about, you know, working with me. You know, somebody like you, at first I thought, well, Lord, you just want me to work with beginner speakers, but then you came into my life and you already had spoken in other countries. You'd spoken in front of thousands of people. So if there's somebody watching, and you know what, you guys, if you haven't figured out, like, yes, I want you all to coach with me. I really do believe that I have skills that can take you to the next level. Sometimes people feel like, but Summer only works with beginners, and that's not true. I love taking people like Amy to the next level. How did somebody like you, already with experience, already speaking in front of thousands, already in other countries, already successful? I mean, girlfriend, can we talk numbers really quick? Is it okay? Can I throw out the most you made in a month?
Okay.
I can. Amy would never tell you this, you guys, but Amy made $90,000 in a month before in the networking business. So you got to listen to the numbers talk. She's not just saying this and she's only made a little money here, a little money there. She's the real deal, has made serious amounts of money in the industry from her networking skills. So you've all kinds of success. And then you've been on our program this year and you shared a little bit. You used to almost have panic attacks. Will you just share a little bit about what it was like to be already at a level, be already on stages, and then to work in our program?
Yeah, I mean, I just think like no matter how good like you think you are at a certain skill or like you're already doing something, I feel like there's always somebody that can take you higher and like take you to a different level. And I just like you exude confidence. And so that's what attracted me to you because I was like, wow, she's really confident that she can take me from here to here. And so that was extremely attractive to me. And then just I can't explain really, but like you can just look at somebody and you can tweak the smallest thing. And I think that they can go from like being a rock star to like a mega rock star with this one tiny change. And so I just think it's so important that you get coaches and you get people to take you to the next level because the more you can surround yourself with great, amazing people like that, you're going to go higher, you're going to excel more, and people can see things that you don't see. So like they can look at it through a different lens and just help you tweak something that might make you be able to have way more effect with the people that you're getting the privilege to get in front of.
Thanks. I'm glad you pointed that out. That is, you talked about, what can you do that other people can't do? What's your gift? What's your thing that you can do? That's the first thing I thought of, putting over 20,000 performers on stage in Los Angeles, California, sitting in the audience of thousands and thousands of people, probably well over 1,000 performances that I sat in to study audiences. And I feel like that is my high level of skill, is teaching people. I love working digitally. I love that we're having a virtual summit. That's great. And my favorite thing is to get somebody on a stage with a microphone in their hand, teaching them how to master the stage, teaching them to tweak that one body thing that you said, and then teaching them how to master an audience so that the audience is sitting up paying attention and you're the speaker they always remember. I love it. I think that's just my high level of skill and gifting from working with so many different kinds of performers. I don't have to think about it. Just watch you and go, just try this one thing instead. So I'm glad you brought that up. I appreciate it. Any last words?
I would just say, just want to encourage everybody that you can network and meet as many people as you would like to meet, that it is a learned skill. And even if you're shy and you have no confidence in the area, it's 100% doable. I know if I could do it, if I could go from being extremely shy to speaking in front of thousands and thousands of people, it's not anything I ever thought would be possible. But if I can do it, you can 100% do it. And last but not least, get in Summer's program because she's amazing. That's all.
Now I'm going to have to send you some cookies. Winning. That's like a mic drop as if I planned that. Thank you, my friend, for being here. You're so fabulous. What a blessing you are in my life. And you are truly, truly just like a joy to have as a friend and a client. It's been a joy to coach you and watch you just go next level as well. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think, well, did you guys get anything out of hearing from Amy? I should have said drop 90 in the chat if that sounds awesome. You're like, hey, making $90,000 in 1 month. That's more than most people make in 1 year. Count me in. That sounds awesome. Aline says 90K for sure. Amy is great. And guess what? She's actually here. She's been in and out all day watching with you all. And I just called her and was like, hey, can you jump? Look at how cute you look. I was like, can you jump on and say hi to everybody?
Hello.
So you've been watching a little bit today. Any major takeaways? Favorite moments?
Oh gosh. I loved Shauna when she was on. I mean, Java with Jen was really great too. I mean, everybody that you bring on is just fabulous, and I've got so much value. I've even heard them each speak before, and like I learn new stuff every time I hear them. And it's just amazing to watch because I've actually watched Shauna grow through your program as well, and it's just super impressive to see where she started and where she is now. So
I love it. What's the number one thing that you grew in through the program?
the number one thing I grew in is not going into complete panic mode when I had to speak, which is a really big deal because if you get really high cortisol levels because you're having a panic right before you're going to talk, it's really not good for your body or your health. So you might have saved my life with not helping me get panic attacks.
Hey, I never thought about that. You need to take my speaker program because it'll lower your cortisol and save your life. New marketing, Maya. Go ahead and write that down. Well, thank you for being here. You're so sweet. You're so awesome. Appreciate you. Just was like, oh, she's here. She should show her face really quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's great to see everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Love you. You're amazing. Okay. Well, we are almost at time here to land the plane for today. And then we have another day. Can y'all believe we still have one more day? Like, are you kidding me? Crazy sauce. Uh-oh. Don't do that. My screen just jumped. Can you guys still see me? Okay, good. I just wanted to do a couple things. Is it okay if I give away some prizes? I forgot to give away prizes this morning. I'm going to do that really quick before we go away today. I'm going to give away prizes really quick. First of all, I did want to say thank you for those of you who have turned in testimonial videos. So if you didn't see on our main page, I'm going to go to the main page here really quick on your dashboard. I'm going to give you homework today. If you guys didn't know, I used to teach high school English and theater. I was a teacher and I love giving people homework. So we're going to give you homework tonight that if you do, you're going to get more points on the leaderboard and a chance to get prizes. Plus, sometimes I just like to give prizes to people who do their homework really well because I'm like that. So 2 things I want to point out on your dashboard really quick here, right here, is we've got this amazing image waterfall. Look at how good looking all of you are. What? Who put that there? Look at all these cool pictures. Oh, that's a great one, Denise. Look at how cute all of you are. Oh my goodness gracious. Love all the faces. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so today I want you to actually take a picture of your why. Now, it could be like it's just you and your paper, or it could be you with your kids, whatever represents your why you must become a speaker. I want a picture of your why in the waterfall. I also, if you go here, wow, hold on, wait, we got to go back for a second. Image waterfall. Oh, it changed. I saw that picture of the guy in the corner. Dinosaurs Phoenix Zoo. You guys are having a lot of fun. Wow, that's a great headshot of that guy right there in the middle. Yeah, this guy with his arms crossed right there. It's another great photo. Lots of great photos. Okay. On the main page right here, you can record a takeaway. And so if you do this, you'll get more points on the leaderboard. If you record a takeaway video, I heard Araya that he recorded one. So thank you so much, Araya, for doing that. You take time to record a video testimonial, that'll give you points. Doing the image waterfall, that'll give you points. And going back a page. Come on, come back. There we go. And then the last thing is if you go Facebook Live in the group, that'll give you points as well. So what I want you to do for your Facebook Live and your video testimonial, I want you to share why you want to be a speaker. Why? Go Facebook Live in the Kingdom Speakers group and read us your paper if you have to, shaking, holding a bucket, whatever it is for you. But what's your why? I want to hear all of the whys. So do a video today in the Facebook group and share your why. Drop an image in the image waterfall of your why, and then record your takeaway testimonial video of what you've experienced for the last 2 days, okay? Those are the homeworks today. Should we get some winners on the leaderboard? We're going to give a prize away to the top 2 people on the leaderboard, and I haven't checked this out yet, so let's see who we got. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, Nicole Dudley jumping into first place. Okay, Nicole Dudley, we've got this for you. My favorite, amazing and incredible tripod that looks like this because that's what I have in my house. So we're going to get that for you. And Sydney will do that for you as well. So congratulations to those beautiful and amazing ladies. Congrats, congrats, congrats.
You get points for updating your info as well.
Oh, you get points for updating your info as well? And he's bringing that to my attention because in order for us to send your prizes, we want you to update your info, which is right under here. So if you update your contact info, that'll also give you prizes. And don't forget, join the Academy, join with payments right there on your dashboard. You got any questions, you can still go to the help desk. And I'm going to pray because I just realized I didn't pray when we started today. So I'm going to pray us out, and then they're going to play a video. And then when that's done, those of you that are VIP, we're going to go ahead and have our VIP session in here. So you don't have to worry about going anywhere or anything like that. As soon as that video is done, we'll go ahead and have our VIP session. Sound good? All right, let me pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. So many incredible, just magical moments and things that you were doing today. Father, we just continue to turn this event over to you. We thank you for all of the incredible speakers that gave their time, their talents, and their yes, Father, to this summit, to raise up kingdom speakers and influencers, Father, that will boldly take stages and open their mouth and not be afraid to proclaim the name of Jesus, Lord. I just pray that every person here, Lord, that you're speaking boldly to them, that you're lighting a fire deep inside their belly to be that mouthpiece for the kingdom you've called them to be, Father. That's what we want. We just want them to step forward in boldness and confidence and begin to make a difference, because we know that their voice matters. We know that their story matters, Father. So we thank you for the relationships and the alignment for the assignment that you're going to bring to them in this next season. We declare incredible abundance, Father, that they'll be feeling the end of 2024, but they'll be feeling the abundance of the beginning of 2025 and what their speaker journey and what that roadmap can look like. And we just praise you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right, VIPs, I'll see you in just a little bit. Everybody else, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Have you ever had an idea, like a really good idea, but you didn't know how to launch it? And you just kind of felt like you're just a good idea store, but no one's coming in buying. I have felt like that for many years until I met Summer Day and her team. She's been able to help me take my ideas and not just organize them, but how to implement them, how to launch them, how to serve people with them. It's helped me to honor the gifts that God has given me. It's actually helping me to move past limiting beliefs that I've had, or areas where I've been stuck, or potholes I have fallen in, to actually serve people.
I've always known that I've had a call to speak. And this was the time in my life where I knew I was ready, but I knew I needed help. And so God, in his goodness, placed Summer in my life right at the right time. And I'm so glad he did, because I'm building up through her trainings, the confidence, and the encouragement, and the specifics to improve what I know I need to be able to be effective to spread God's love and his word to his people.
I met Summer at a women's retreat, and I'm starting a clothing brand, and I wanted to learn how to represent that brand well with my voice. And what really got me in, though, was that I want to learn how to speak from this woman who acts like being Christian actually makes a difference. It can affect how you pray, how you speak, how you act, and how you interact with people.
I joined Summer's program because I had been working in my business for like 7 years and found myself really, really stuck. And the wild thing is that I didn't even know I needed Summer, but God knew. I needed Summer just at the right time. And I got on a call with her, and within less than 10 minutes, God gave her downloads of how I could market myself that are so out of the box. I'm an artist. And so to be thinking the way she was thinking on how I could market and do things just blew my mind. Since then, it's just been this amazing favor and grace that has been pouring down. I love this community. We're so encouraging, and just the ideas that I get stuck in, I just really want to encourage you to jump in, join her mastermind group or her speaking group, whatever it is that you need. She's going to be there for you. And she loves the Lord, and the Holy Spirit just moves on her like incredible favor has fallen on her and me. Hope to see you soon.
I joined Master Your Voice with Summer Day because I knew that there was something more that I was created for. Through all the nuances of my life's journey as a mom and a medical provider, I knew that there was something more that could make sense out of the various pieces that I couldn't even make sense out of. And what I've learned through the training is that I have a unique voice to draw out those things that are calling among my colleagues in medicine who need to have someone help bring their voice to light too, to make a difference in all of our patients. And that is why I joined, and I love it and encourage anyone to just find their own voice and learn to speak it with confidence, like I've learned with Summer Day.
I feel like I've needed to learn to use my voice more. And as a coach in it, I wanted to learn how to come across to people. And she taught that very well and learned so much and growing. She's amazing at teaching you how to use your voice and your unique you, who God created you to be, and your own message. And that's what I've been getting out of it. It's been so good. Thank you, Summer.
Summer Day, her real gifting is working with people live and in person, the tangible. She does amazing through Zoom. Her and her team, they're comprehensive in how they wrap around you with their services, their creativity, and their support. But there's something special about when you work with somebody in person. When you actually rerun something, when you try something new, when you pivot and shift. Her field of favor is really working with speakers live and in person to help them master their voice and bring their story to a stage to move the masses. That really is her gifting. And I am so blessed that I got to receive from her in person. And I can only imagine what it's going to do to your speaking.
Summer Day takes your story and gives you confidence to speak boldly. It's the trainers here that teach you the very skill set to be able to speak on stages. And all my life has been a slow process. Everything that I've done has been growing and learning and preparing for this day. And when I saw Summer go on her 3-day challenge, God said, it's time. Now, hook up with this lady because she knows what she's doing. She's got all the experience, the knowledge, the personality, and everything that I need. So I did. I stopped everything. I canceled everything off my books, and I dove in and gave it 100% everything that I am. And I'm so glad I did because I have learned so much. If you looked at my speeches a month ago before I started this and my speeches now, you wouldn't even recognize me.
It doesn't matter what program you're in, as long as you're in this community. Oh, these people love hard. They love hard and they want to see you succeed too. And it's like in the Bible, you know, it says, you know, to come around your brothers and sisters and be in community with them. There's a reason for that, and there's such an amazing display about that. It does not matter what program it is. It's the space and the community that gets drawn in here that just represents what God has been asking us to do as far as coming together as unity and as family.
And you've got a powerful message that the world needs to hear.
It's a total game changer. It helps you to truly, truly accelerate.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you see me now? All right, my friends, it's that time. It's time for us to go into the all access session. We dropped the link one more time because if you're not all access, we're going to kick you back into the waiting room right now. I'm going to bring up Mr. Pat Quinn. You guys got to experience some of him yesterday, but he's here. The man, the myth, the legend is here. Wait, should we Scooby-Doo? He's here. He's here, you guys. I know that wasn't the appropriate use of a Scooby-Doo. And so if you want to grab that link, get your all access, you can come back in here with us. With my team, you can go ahead and put the people in the waiting room that are not, in fact, VIPs. And let me unmute Pat Quinn because I think he's stuck on mute. Yeah? Is it working?
There you go.
There it is. Hello, my friend.
Hey, good to see you.
I'm be real with you. I think you're everyone's favorite yesterday.
Well, I hope that we provided valuable information that'll help people grow and reach their goals.
Yes, for sure. There's somebody that we get to mute. Don't know what that was. Excited to have you live because you do great on any sort of recorded training, and of course I got to watch you do it live, but you're even more exciting in person. Anything specific you want us to share before we get rolling? I read your bio yesterday, talked about how fabulous you were. I've been counting down the minutes till you got here. I told them repeatedly, hang on to your hats and glasses because it's about to get crazy.
I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has. I just hope that people take the content that you're delivering that's so valuable and so important and believe that it's possible for them. I think sometimes when we attend an event like this, we see somebody like you and we're like, "Oh, that's so cool that you're doing all those things." But I don't think I could ever do those things. And I see this all the time. I work with some of the most famous speakers in the world. And the truth is that they're not doing anything that we can't do. I think sometimes we think like, oh my gosh, that person just is born with so much talent. I don't have that kind of talent. That's not actually true. That person has a voice in their head that says you're not good enough, just like